back, baby! Welcome to the Game Informer Show. This is the podcast where we inform you and sometimes ourselves about games. I'm your host, Ben Reeves, joined today by a couple of special guests. They're always special. Marcus Stewart, how's it going?
Good. I'm really glad you think I'm special. That's all I ever wanted.
The most special. Kimberly Wallace?
Well, I'm not the most special, but hi, how are you doing?
The mostest special. And the mostest special, Alex Van Aken. How's it going?
Hey, thanks so much for having me on today.
That's right. How you guys doing? Everybody good?
Yeah, everything's hanging in there.
We, for all the people listening, this is a week after the last podcast, but for us recording, it's been, 7 years since we recorded a podcast? It's been a while, but it's good to be back. Real quick, I want to jump into the show. We're just to give you an overview. We're going to do a community email section. Obviously, we're going to do kind of in the middle of this podcast. We want to do a breakdown of the year ahead, kind of looking at the year ahead. And I think there's a lot of games that haven't been announced yet. Mm-hmm. So take this all with a grain of salt. But there's also a lot of good games on the horizon, some good stuff to look forward to. So we're going to run down the release list and talk about the games we're most excited about for 2021, which is a weird thing to say. Sounds very Isaac Asimov-y.
Now, is that the year we're in now?
Yeah. I guess it's 2021. I don't know.
2020 part 2.
Yeah.
No.
But to kick off the show, let's we always do our playlist, which is the segment of the show where we talk about what we've been playing. I'd love to do a quick rundown of what you guys been playing, and I'll start. I've been playing Super Meat Boy Forever.
Ooh.
Which is the follow-up to Super Meat Boy, obviously, which was the indie platformer that took the world by storm back in 2010. Mm-hmm. It's a great, super hard platformer. I had a lot of fun with that game. This game is an auto runner. So it's not an endless runner. Don't confuse the two. I don't know how you could possibly confuse them.
So is it more like Mario Run?
It is a lot like Mario Run. Yeah. Okay. So Super Meat Boy starts running automatically. You can't control his direction or movements up and down other than jumping. So you basically just have to jump at the right time. But it's still super hard. And Marcus, I know you've been playing it too. Have you been digging it?
I have. I'm a huge fan of that original game. And I don't mind auto runners, but I'm not like the super into them either. So when they first announced that that's what this was going to be, I was pretty almost kind of let down, but cautiously optimistic of like, okay. And so far, like I'm getting towards the end of the second world. And I've been surprised at how well they've managed to translate that game's DNA to that auto runner format. Like it didn't take as long as I thought it would for me to kind of get used to not having total control of Meat Boy, but the platforming feels close to like as tight as that original game was, and the way the traps are designed and the little platforming set pieces have been really well done. And actually they've found ways to make that work with like keeping in mind the fact that you can't make him move forward. And there's some pretty clever traps around that have impressed me. So, and it's as hard as that first game too.
Yeah. But the checkpointing is really good. It's really like short checkpoints, which make it pretty easy to stomach. And you're always facing like one specific hurdle of jumps that you're like, I got to master this. And then once you master it, you're on to the next thing, which is nice.
Yeah. You guys feel like it still feels like Meat Boy?
I think so.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It also does the thing when you get to the end of a run where you can watch yourself play through it and watch your deaths again.
Yeah.
This time it's a little less satisfying because of the auto run nature where most of your paths are the same. Which kind of makes sense, but it's still there. I think ultimately I would love a Super Meat Boy 2 where it's not auto running, where you're directly controlling Super Meat Boy. But this is a fun diversion, let's say. And Marcus, you said you were kind of disappointed by the fact that they announced that it was auto run. I think I was more disappointed by the announcement that it was procedurally generated. And the reason they're calling it Forever is because it's procedurally generated. There's like 7,000 different like platformer pieces that they're using to construct each level. And so they're mixing and matching all that. And I thought it actually did a really good job of flowing together. And if somebody had told me like this is just all handcrafted, I think I would have believed them because it doesn't feel like it's pieced together
Interesting.
like a puzzle.
Yeah.
So
I
like
don't
your
real
world
ones.
1-1 will be different from Marcus's.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I actually completely forgot about that till you said that. So I guess that speaks to how well done it was. I was like, yeah, that's right. Everything is procedural. So I didn't even
so
notice that.
You could go back and replay it a second time, and it'll be a completely different game, which is neat.
That's cool.
Yeah, or you can share your seed too. So there's a seed generator at the beginning. If you and your friend want to play like the exact same game, you can do that.
Yeah. Ben, have you had the thing where like because you're not controlling Meatboy, like really all you're doing is jumping and kind of hitting down? Have you kind of had this moment of like, I feel like I could almost play this game one-handed because like I'm playing with a controller and I'm like,
Yeah,
consciously have my thumb over the stick at all times, and then realizing that's like you do have moments where you need to like duck, but it's not like super often. And I've been using the D-pad for that just because it feels more precise to me. But it's like, oh, I almost like I can see this would because I don't know if that game is on mobile or if it still is. I think it was announced for mobile too.
it was announced for mobile, and I don't know if it's still coming out for mobile. It's on PC and Switch right now, and I think it's coming to other platforms later in the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a holdover from the mobile era of development because it started as a mobile game back when auto run games were like nice and hot, and this took like 6 years to make. So
yeah,
I don't know if they missed their window or not, but I played it on PC and I thought it actually functioned like for the most part. I just kind of thought of it as another Super Meat Boy game.
How does the difficulty kind of compare to the original Super Meat Boy?
It's hard. I would say maybe a touch not as hard, but it's still hard. I think that first game, there were areas that had me ripping out my hair. In this game, like I think that I died like 300 times on the end boss, but it is doable. I think if you really are into this, it's doable. The one other thing I think we should mention is the new feature is Super Meat Boy can punch. So you hit the jump button, and then if you hit the jump button a second time when you're in the air, he does a dash punch. So there's
that's
a few
cool.
enemies scattered around the level, which really you just like punching them so that you can like get further across.
Air dash through them, kind of.
Yeah, basically. They're not like, you don't have to do a lot of fighting in this game.
Yeah, it feels really good too. Like just the impact of hitting people.
Yeah, it does. It's one of those things where like, as I play through this game, I kind of forgot that the punch wasn't in the first one, but you know, it'd be cool to see like another, like I said, Super Meat Boy 2, where they bring in the punch and they bring in some other stuff.
Yeah, it's because he has a kid now, so he's a lot more violent, you know.
That's right. Oh, that's the other thing is I don't know what you think about this, Marcus, but there's a lot of cartoon interstitials between each level. The story is all wordless, but it's like surprisingly long. I'll say surprisingly long for what this game is. It's not like half-hour cutscenes or anything, but it is like kind of deep and humorous, and I don't know. I like the story more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I've only seen I guess 2 because there's like the intro and then the one in between World 1 and 2. But yeah, like they've been fun. It's that like Team Meat humor. I guess it's like just kind of it's funny, but also like slightly messed up in a weird way. But yeah, it's cool, and you know, also this game you get to play as Bandage Girl, which is a nice touch.
That's right. Yeah, there's a bunch of unlockable characters, which I've only started to scratch the surface on, but there's a lot of depth here too if you really want to dive in.
Yeah, for sure.
Super Meat Boy Forever. It kind of came out the end of last year, so we missed our window.
Yeah.
And
it's like the day before Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I was like, wait,
it was the weirdest time.
I don't know if that's a good time to release a game or not, but you tell us, Team Meat. How did it do? But yeah, I'm working on a review. Hopefully that'll be up on the site by the time you're listening to this. So go check that out. I liked it. Anybody else have any games they want to talk about? Anything you guys have been playing over the break?
I've been playing a newer game. It actually released on December 17th, and I think it's going to fly under a lot of people's radar because of that. You know, it's called Airborne Kingdom, and it's a city builder that is set in the sky, and it's got like your typical, you know, yeah, it's very cool. And it's on the Epic Game Store before I forget to say that. So it's got your typical, you know, you're managing resources, you know, your wood, your water, your housing, food supply. The twist is that each one of your buildings adds weight to your city and adds tilt to your city. And so you have to balance where exactly you're placing your different buildings to make sure that your city isn't off balance and like topple over. And then like certain buildings like generate lift and propulsion for your, because you're like, it's a weird like city builder meets like an RTS where you're clicking around the map and your city is like flying to that location to, you know, gather more resources. And the whole goal of the game is there's like these, I think 12 scattered kingdoms, and you are kind of reassembling this, you know, quote unquote airborne kingdom and kind of reuniting the, you know, the nations to be one giant, awesome, you know, kingdom in the sky. It's a really cool game. It's I think it's like $20 on Epic Game Store, and it's absolutely gorgeous. There's a photo mode too, and it's just like a twist on something that I already love. And if you're kind of looking for a palate cleanser after the holidays, after all those big AAA games, I feel like Airborne Kingdom, can't go wrong with it.
Kind of like SimCity in the sky, you would say.
Yeah, I think so.
How customizable are the buildings? Because like the first thing I want to do with that is like, can I remake Columbia from BioShock Infinite in that game?
So where I'm at in the game, I'm probably 3 hours in. You can customize, you can like find dye throughout the world. And like you have to like send your workers and explore, you know, different ancient ruins, and you can get, you know, diamonds to trade, or you can pick up things like dye that allow you to kind of customize the color of your buildings and like the general motif. And you can also collect by exploring. You can find different alloys. So like, let's say, you know, I want my building to be made out of brass or copper or, you know, steel, whatever. And those have kind of changed. Yeah, exactly. Those have kind of changed, you know, the look of it, Marcus, but I haven't gotten to a point where I can like recreate, you know, any city that I want to, as far as like the look of it. So,
okay.
Are there other flying cities?
Yes and no. Once you like go and help a kingdom, they become almost like a skyport for you, but there's not in the sense of like, there's no other enemies that you have to like look out for. Or anything like that. It's mostly like you are kind of setting up a network of your kingdom. But it's cool. You're like, yeah, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, I saw that at GDC like a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, I'm excited to check that game when it comes out. And it's time.
It's out. Yep.
Ding, ding, ding. I'm checking it out.
Yep. And
Kim,
it's pretty well polished too. So
yeah, that was Airborne Kingdom, right?
Yep.
Cool. Worth checking out. Kim, you've been playing anything exciting?
So I got involved over break with a game that's older that Dan Tack has been begging me to play for so long, and I had a really bad night of insomnia, and I was like, yeah, I'll check out Slay the Spire. And I was up till 6 a.m. playing that baby because I did not realize how fun that would be, building your own deck and going through, and that engaging loop that you just can't put down. And, you know, I like the randomness of always having to adjust every time you play with your deck. Like, okay, how much defense capabilities do I want versus offense, and not knowing where, you know, as you go through the map, you have question mark tiles, which sometimes could be an enemy, other times could be like you make a deal with the devil. Like I finally forged a deal with like the vampires the other day, and I was like, why didn't I do this sooner? Because when you attack, you get HP back. Like I thought that would be like the worst thing to give up, because you always have to give something up to get something, and you're trying to balance the better. But I have been addicted, and I talked about this on Twitter, and everyone's like, now you need to play Monster Train. So that's probably like, so that's probably next on my list. And I feel bad that I hadn't played this game. It's just one that just like, you know, I always meant to play it and just never got around to it. So I'm happy I rectified that. But now every night before I go to bed, like I do a run. And so I feel like it's back to kind of how I was with Hades, where I'm like, all right, let's just try this one more time. see if we can do better.
I feel bad. That's one of those games where when it came out, I was really into it, and I'm not a big deck builder guy, but that one grabbed me, and then I played a bunch of runs. I never finished a run, but the time I got the closest, I was like on this amazing roll. I just had this amazing build of cards, and I don't even remember which boss it was, but I lost through, like, in my eyes at least, perceived BS. And then I was like, oh, I hate this game now. And then never played it again.
It's so hard because I've had a few runs where I'm like, this deck is amazing. I don't know how I could ever lose. And then something just like there's a random element that you couldn't have anticipated. You know, or you get that the cards don't go in your favor and you're like, I needed defense here. I needed to have blocks and I have no blocks that came up in the draw pile. You know, and then you can try to manipulate through your items sometimes but it's like when you lose, when you have that great deck, it really hurts. 'Cause it's like, no, I thought I had the one.
It's like I invested so much time in making the perfect deck and I got to start over. And then I was
always that one element you forgot about, like, oh, poison. I didn't even.
I think that's what it was, actually. I think it was the poison boss got me, and then I was like, I just can't right now. And then right now became like a year or so.
Did you play Monster Train, Marcus?
No, I want to, because I've like you know, it's prior when I started working here, but I think I was listening to like Dan go on and on about it, and it looked cool. And I heard that, I don't know if it's necessarily easier than Slay the Spire, but there was something about like maybe it's a bit more approachable or streamlined. So I was like,
I think maybe it is a little bit easier. I mean, I beat the game on my first run, which I was immediately like, talk about hating a game right away. But I was like, you beat it in the first run, you're like, oh, I love this game. So,
like, and Ben's a baby boy, so Ben
I'm
can
a baby
do it.
boy.
I can do it.
Okay, so yeah, I would like to at some point.
Yeah, if you're ever in the mood for a Slay the Spire like Monster Train, definitely worth it.
Okay, sure.
Cool. Well, that kind of ends the playlist. You guys want to talk about games of 2021?
Woo!
Yeah.
That brings
Let's
us to
do it.
Bring on the games.
A little segment we like to call New Year, New Game. Because everybody's going to look for new game to play, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I just still have a bunch of games from 2020 that I'm still playing. But
Me too.
at the same time, it's always fun to look forward, right? So I pulled up a list. This is obviously not a complete list because, you know, we don't know all the games that are coming out, and, you know, take it with a grain of salt. A lot of these dates are probably subject to change. And in fact, I don't have a lot of dates for a lot of this, but let's run down the list of games that we do know are currently planned to come out this year. Starting with Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the complete edition, which is set for January 14th, which is, man, that's like a week away.
Yeah, that's very soon.
I still have that game installed on my PS3. That game's great.
I never played it for whatever reason.
Yeah, that was a game where I wanted to go back and replay it, but I haven't been able to because it's not out anymore.
Now's your chance,
I know.
Alex.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do it.
It's good. It's good side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Yeah, it's good fun.
We should play for all of us. There's 4 of us here.
Oh, it's co-op? See, that's like I hate to say it when people say Scott Pilgrim, I kind of check out just because, you know,
Did you not like the movie?
The movie was good. I just, you know, sometimes when fandom can kind of exhaust you a little bit. It's kind of like one of those things. But I'm excited to try it for the first time, for sure.
It's good stuff.
And you should. Next up, we have on January 20th, Hitman 3, which I was thinking about just like 2 days ago. I was like, oh, Hitman 3, that's out in like less than a month.
Yeah.
And I kind of got excited. I was like, you know what I could really go for is like Hitman 3 feels like the perfect bomb to like being overloaded on open world games. It just feels like a nice, clean, I am going to go in, do some assassinations, a little bit more bite-sized mission structure. Like, I'm really looking forward to that. I think
it has. I've kind of been lucky enough to be on, you know, our preview coverage of that for the cover story, and my excitement for it has just like skyrocketed. I can't wait to get the final game and just, you know, dive into the world of Agent 47 again.
Yeah, we just had it on the Game Informer cover. Yep. There's a bunch of stuff, articles online. If you go to GameInformer.com/Hitman3, I believe, you can check out a bunch of features we did. So totally worth it. Cool. Next up, the day after that, January 21st, Tim. You guys familiar with this one?
Yeah, the Pokemon MMO.
Pokemon MMO. I mean, not officially Pokemon branded, but it's basically Pokemon.
Yeah, the Chim Pokemon MMO.
Yeah, I think this has been out in early.
It came out last January 2020, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a lot of friends played in early access and come away like pretty positive on it. Like felt like what do they say, more difficult Pokemon? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now it's coming to the Xbox Series XS and Switch. So
on Switch?
Yeah, that's what I've been waiting for.
In my notes.
Okay, all right.
Sounds cool to me.
Switch, you have me. I like playing on the handheld mode before bed. It's like the best the best thing.
Then January 28th, The Medium is
Ooh,
coming
I'm
out.
excited for that one.
I am too.
Can you tell me why? Because I've seen the trailers and I'm not getting
Well,
it.
they
I
have the two different worlds that you're going in and out of, the reality and the spiritual one.
Sure.
I don't know. It looks cool to me.
Yeah, I think it looks cool too, like mechanically, and I think Bloober Team has kind of become a pretty decent and somewhat reliable horror game maker. Like not all of their games hit. I think Observer was their best game personally. I think that was a really fascinating game. I didn't finish Blair Witch, but it scared me, so it got me.
You didn't finish it because it scared you, or you just didn't finish it?
Half of that. I wanted to be like braver and be like, oh, I just didn't like it. Like, no, it scared me in a way that I was not expecting. But I enjoyed what I played of it. So it's kind of their pedigree. Plus, I think premise is interesting that I'm like, yeah, I'll give that a shot.
Yeah, Marcus, that's exactly where I'm at with it. Like between them and also the premise sounds cool. They said that the new tech on the consoles like really let them kind of realize what they wanted to do with those two worlds being on screen kind of at the same time. So that sounds really interesting to me. So yeah, that's kind of where I kind of just I'm more curious, not 100% confident it's going to be the best thing, but who knows? It could be. Yeah, I love my scary games.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
You know what scares me, Kim?
Whoa.
The name Bloober Team.
It's a weird name. You would think they would have made like Fall Guys or something with that name.
Yeah.
They sound gooey.
They do. I think they said the exact same thing on the Beastcast a couple weeks ago. It's funny.
Oh, really?
Okay. Next up, January 28th, Yakuza Remastered Collection, which, hey, Yakuza's hot now. Everybody's excited. So
yeah,
if you
I'm still working my way through Like a Dragon, though.
Me too.
Are you liking it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love it. It's just a big game.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite ready to jump into the remastered collection yet, but, maybe by the end of 2021.
Yeah.
You'll be playing for a long time.
What's in the remaster? Is it just the first 6, I guess?
Well, not 1 and 2. I think it's like 3, 4, and 5, I believe.
Oh, okay. The ones that haven't been like re-released yet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the remastered ones rather than the quote unquote remake ones.
Yeah.
1 and 2. Yeah, the Kwamis. All right. Moving on to February. On February 4th, Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. I don't know why I included that on the list, but anybody a werewolf fan?
It looks.
Here's something I know Jeff Park's excited about. On February 11th, Little Nightmares 2. It's kind of a side-scrolling, I guess you could call it a platformer. It's kind of Limbo-esque.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first Little Nightmares was pretty good, and I believe this one's 2 players, so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, I like that first game.
You skipped over Ys 9. I just got to bring it up.
Oh, all right.
That's February 2nd for PS4, but you can play it on your PS5. That's why I'm here for, just RPG call out.
Wait, that's to say about E's, more like Z's.
Wait, that's how you pronounce it? I've always said
it's not wise. It's not wise. It's E's.
It's E's. I've always said yes. So I'm glad that you said it out loud.
I've mispronounced everything in my life except that. That's one I've gotten right every time, and I'm proud.
I will say I'm impressed that series is still holding on. It just feels like a weird relic of another era. But the fact that they're still releasing games, like it must have a decent.
They do action combat still so dang well. And this one is cool because you get supernatural abilities. They just had a demo for it. I was like a little with the demo. It could go either way, but they tried to really focus on verticality. So like your characters can they can fly, they can like warp to certain points. It sounds fun. Like they can do anything with Adel. Right at this point, our little redheaded hero from every game.
Right, you can do anything as long as you believe in it.
And you get to build your base that you get to build up as a bar. Come on now.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
I will not play that game, but
I will. I'll let you guys know how it is.
Honestly, what score would you have to give it for me to be like, maybe I should try that? If you gave it a 10, I'd be like,
All
guess
right.
I'm gonna play this Ease game. I didn't.
Yeah.
It's
Can you play this new one as a newcomer?
Yes. All the
Okay.
Ease games are pretty newcomer friendly because certain characters and stuff will carry over, but it's like a fresh story almost on every like usually, the last one is like shipwrecked and you just had to figure out a way off the island and all that. So they're very like you could start with any of them and be okay.
Okay. Good to know.
All right, moving on. February 12th, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury.
Hell
Which
yeah.
I'm excited about because I
too.
just worked my way through the Mario 3D All-Stars collection. I worked my way through
cool.
all 3 of those games, which, that collection definitely had faults, but those games are still fun. So I'm excited I'm excited for more Mario, honestly, even after
And I didn't have a Wii U, so like
digesting 3 games, I'm still interested in more. What's that, Alex?
I was saying I didn't have a Wii U, so like this will be my first time. I like played it at a friend's house co-op and kind of got the taste for it. I'm like, okay, I wanna own that game, so I'm excited.
Yeah, the game's so good. I played 4 players because I had a Wii U. I was one of the 6 people. And I've always been annoyed by how underappreciated or forgotten that game kind of feels. Like I would talk to people that would be like, how come they haven't made a 3D Galaxies? I'm like, they did. There's one on Wii U. It's the 3D Mario game. You get to be cats and stuff. And
Yeah.
so
That's the one with your cats.
Yep.
Yeah, the only time they have ever done that. I have cat ears from that game. So I was working at GameStop at the time, and when the game came out, they made us wear them at like the launch event. So maybe I'll wear those again. When
Do
I
it.
pick this up. Okay, you've convinced
We'll
me.
all play together. Like we're gonna play Scott Pilgrim together.
All right, I like this party that we formed.
Yeah, sounds like a great party.
Yeah,
Speaking of parties, Persona 5 Strikers is coming out
Hell
on
yeah.
February 23rd.
what is
This
that?
This is
exactly?
the
Soccer game? Is
Dynasty
that what this is?
Warriors-esque Persona game.
It's a moose
You know?
now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I joke, but it makes it sound like it's a football game.
I keep thinking that too. I keep thinking
Yeah,
it's a
too.
soccer game.
Me
Yeah.
too.
I've played the import. It's pretty fun from what I played, from what I could understand. I really liked like the backdrops. Like this one area was kind of like a castle amusement park-esque. That was really fun to go through. And they did a good job at incorporating like the turn-based persona mechanics, which you wouldn't expect into the battle system because you'll have like your special attacks and stuff you can switch between. But like, we're all here for the Persona characters, really. If you like Persona, you're probably going to want to play this. It's kind of, it's the trend, right? To get one of those games now, like they did with, Zelda and, what was the other recent one? Oh, Dragon Quest did it. Everybody's doing it now. You gotta
Zelda
have
was
your
the
own.
recent one, but yeah, the Dragon Age.
You know you've made it when you've got a moose out game.
Yes, exactly.
I guess so. I'm glad I don't have to review that one. All right, let's move on to March. March 2nd,
Persona.
Harvest Moon One World, which I like Harvest Moon. I haven't played a Harvest Moon in a long time, basically
too.
since.
This is not like the real Harvest Moon.
Oh yeah, this is like the fake one, right?
Yes.
This is because the real Harvest Moons are called Story of Seasons now.
Correct.
Yeah.
So like the series, Natsume like brought the series originally over to North America, and then Natsume lost the license, but they own the name Harvest Moon because they named it when it came over here Harvest Moon. So then they started making their own Harvest Moon games, and so when the real series came back, it came back as Story of Seasons, which also has a title coming up, which might be on your list, Ben, might not. But just so I have not been able to get into them since they made it fake Harvest Moon. Is that a fair thing to call it, fake Harvest? I don't even know it anymore. But some people really like the new stuff. But I haven't played one in a while or tried one in a while, so I have no idea what to expect. I'm more excited for Rune Factory 5, but
God, that's a very wrestling-esque story.
yeah, I know. It's like I'm
About
trying
the
to
name.
explain it because if I tell you the Japanese name for it, it's just you're not going to even know what I'm talking about
Yeah,
anyways. So it's just like that's how I'm going to break it down. Let's
It's
break
like,
it down.
This guy was the champion, but then had to vacate the belt, so they crowned a new champion. The original guy came back and said, "No, I'm the champ," and then they have to decide who the real
I get
champ
it now.
is. Yeah,
I think the real champ is Stardew Valley these days, honestly.
Yes, you are correct about
coming
that,
through the
Ben.
crowd, Stardew Valley.
All right. Well, that's Harvest Moon, March 2nd. Just PSA, read into it if you're interested. Also, March 2nd is Yakuza Like a Dragon, comes out on PS5.
Ooh,
Nice.
finally.
Cool that the next gen versions are coming out. I'll probably still be playing the last gen versions because that game is long.
Is there a free upgrade?
Yeah, I believe. Well, for the PlayStation, that's a good question. I know the Xbox has.
Yeah, Xbox had one.
Oh,
smart
I would
delivery.
assume. I would hope.
Yeah, hopefully. March 18th, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake, which I am hopefully curious about. I really love that original game. I think the art style on this one looks like a upgrade, but doesn't blow me away. But I love that original game, and I played again.
You had to interview the team, didn't you, Ben?
Yeah, they're out in India, which is kind of cool. To have people who are actually out there working on a game like this. They seem like they're really excited about it. I'll give them that. They didn't give me any profound insights into the game, but I love Prince of Persia, so here we go. March 19th, a game called Returnal. You guys familiar with this one?
Yeah, it's Housemarque's new game.
Housemarque's new game.
I love Housemarque.
Which I love old Housemarque back when they were doing arcadey stuff. This is more of an action game, it looks like. Kind of a horror-y game.
Yeah, it's like it's like their first real kind of like blockbuster style game. Because like I said, they've always done like Super Stardust or Next Machina, like arcadey stuff. So seeing them tackle like, oh, this is like a story. It's like we have an actor here. It's like, all right, but it still has that Housemarque DNA with the enemies that attack and kind of the bullet hell-ish pattern.
I mean, they're good developers, I'll say that. So I'm hoping that their transition into something different, that they're still good developers.
Yeah, best title of any game this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you like that title, Returnal?
Yeah, Returnal. It's like just dumb but kind of cool at the same time.
Yeah,
like it fits the game's premise because it's like a Groundhog Day kind of thing that you're doing, but it's a roguelike too.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh yeah, you're returning eternally. Yeah, okay.
You're living the same day over and over again.
Yeah.
Speaking of reliving things, March 23rd, Story of Seasons.
There you go.
Pioneers of Allatown, the King. He's back.
So this is the real one.
This is the real Harvest.
Okay.
Is this like some like I don't know like this is on purpose, right? Like both of these games releasing in the same month in a 2-week span. It's like, nah, you're not fake Harvest Moon. Get out of here.
I would really be interested to compare the sales between them. I don't know if it, I don't know if people caught, like, I know fans who are really into like the real Harvest Moon probably know the difference, but I think just like the casual person who's heard of Harvest Moon, they just see it like on the name Harvest Moon and probably are just like, oh, I'm just gonna get this other one, but they don't know that they're missing out on the real one. Like, because Story of Seasons, you wouldn't calculate that it's such a cluster. Oh
yeah, they should put that on the box, like the real Harvest Moon, like a sticker.
Real, not real. Fake Harvest Moon, real Harvest Moon.
Compare it to the leading retail.
They can't use the name though because they don't own it, so that's the problem.
It's like, I remember back when they had that cartoon, the Ghostbusters, and then they came out with the real Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
It always blew my mind that happened. Okay, cool. So on March 26th, a couple days later, Balan Wonderworld, which is the new game from the original creator of Nights into Dreams.
Yeah, Yuji Naka. Yeah. I get more excited for that game the more I see it.
Yeah.
I love platformers in general. And I remember when they first announced that, I was just staring at it. I was like, I don't know what to make of this. It just looks like Knights, but like a new Knights, I guess. Yeah, totally. But they've shown more and more gameplay, and like the premise of like you're these kids in this weird theater-ish themed Wonderland place, and you're wearing all these different costumes that give you different powers. Like then there's like 80 of them. And the 3D platforming looks really fun in like a kind of throwbacky way. And I'm like, you know what? I'm down for this. I want to play this. So. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool.
I think I'm curious about it. It's got a unique look, and I liked Nights into Dreams back in the day. I don't know if it's going to hold up, which this has a different gameplay anyway. But I would love to see what those guys are up to. Yeah, for sure. So that's Balan Wonderworld on March 26th. Also, March 26th, it got a lot of things. It Takes Two is coming out, which is the Joseph Ferris game, the 2-player game.
Yeah,
I think you excited for that?
You need to swear more if you're going to bring his name up. But,
I gotcha.
need to
I
have
gotcha.
him
I
on.
can do it. I can do it. I did it earlier.
That's another one I put in the cautiously optimistic camp because I love Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons so much.
Same here. I like Brothers, but I didn't like his other one, A Way, Out.
Yeah, me
And
neither.
People either really like that game or I could not.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
and I've been
Let's
surprised to
fight.
find
Come
out
on, man.
a lot of people on the team don't seem to like it as much as
I didn't
was
hate it.
God.
I was just pretty lukewarm on it.
I
like
was
being a
so
Barnaby with it.
freaking mad at that game. It just felt like a waste of my time. Sorry. No offense.
Jeez.
So we've got the full range. Like Alex loved it, Kim hated it. I thought it was okay.
Maybe it was the friend I played with, you know.
But we can all agree Brothers was great, right?
Yeah.
I like
Brothers.
Brothers. Yeah.
There we go.
I would love another one of those style games. And this one looks like there's a couple that gets turned into dolls or something.
Yeah, it's silly.
And
It
this
does
one
look
is co-op.
Intentionally silly, yeah.
Yeah, it looks. I like the premise. I hope it's good. I don't think it can be worse than A Way Out. I probably shouldn't jinx the game like that.
It wasn't me throwing the punch there, Alex. It was Marcus.
At least the premise is infinitely more interesting than A Way Out, at least to me. If nothing else, yeah.
Fair.
All right. Also on March 26th, Monster Hunter Rise.
Yes!
Which, Kim, you're a Monster Hunter guy.
Bring it.
Gal,
Go,
I should say.
go.
She's
Sorry.
rising.
Monster Hunter on Switch, and you got a pupper with you. So, I mean, even if though he looks like Rapide from Tales of Vesperia, and I will say that, like, not let that go, but I'm excited just to have a Monster Hunter on Switch. I mean, you know, for a long time, the games were basically on Nintendo systems, and you know, coming back and being able to kind of play that in handheld and on the big screen with my friends, just I'm excited for it. And I didn't expect it to come this soon either. I think was also when they announced it, I was like, yes, it's soon. So I feel like that's going to save us all in March. It's going to bring us all together to cooperate, to take down big monsters so we can wear them together. Let's do it.
Yeah, this is what we'll play after Mario 3D World and Scott Pilgrim.
We got our whole year mapped out, guys. We're gaming together like crazy.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So March 26th, big day. All right. On to April. People Can Fly's Outriders is coming out on April 1st, which, hey, that's my birthday.
Wait, really?
Yeah. April
What?
21st or April
You're
1st.
an April Fool's, baby? Oh, that's amazing.
That's right.
Doesn't
Second
it
best
fit his
birthday to have.
personality so well?
Yeah, it does. Is it a problem scheduling things because people don't believe you? Like, hey, I have a party today, and they just don't show up.
Nobody showed up. We all thought it was a joke.
Like, you're not going to get us this time, Ben.
That's why I always schedule my birthday parties for April 2nd.
That's
Gets them every time.
the
And
real.
then I don't show up. That was the April Fool joke. Yeah, Outriders is coming out April 1st. A demo is coming out on February 25th. So
Oh, nice.
there you go.
Yeah.
I hope I like my present. People Can Fly.
That's why they moved it.
That's why. Yeah. Just kidding. All right. Humankind, the sort of civilization style game, is coming out on April 22nd.
Okay.
I think that game looks neat.
Yeah, I'm curious to see more of it, for sure.
I do feel like I usually get everything I need from that style of game from Civ, so I don't feel like I need a second one of these, but we'll see. Maybe it'll do something different and I don't know, scratch that itch.
It's not like Civ was struggling in the way that maybe SimCity was, or like City Skylines felt like that. Like, oh, it's not this, but it's what we wanted. It seems like they have a steeper hill to climb of like, no, Civ's going pretty strong still. So, but yeah, see what they do.
Sure. Okay. April 23rd, Near Replicant version 1.22474487139. I did it.
Make sure you got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Why couldn't they just name
It's
it something
Square.
else?
This is what they do.
Kim, you're a Near fan, right?
Yes.
Should people be
Yeah.
excited for this? Like, this is a re-release.
Right, of the original, but you play as the brother instead of the father. So for those who didn't, we never got that one version in North America, so it's your first time to check that out. And, you know, it seems like they're doing some cool, like, enhancements for this. And I loved the original Nier. I know Joe Juba didn't like it. you know, so as soon as I came on staff here, I wrote a bunch of articles putting it as one of my favorite RPGs.
just to spite Joe.
Yeah, that's all I live for. That's all I live for. But I remember like understand that. I can't remember if for the new one, if they got any help, but like Platinum Games was not behind the original one. I don't know if they got them to touch up combat or anything. I've been trying to kind of stay a little in the not the know for this because I'm excited for it and I kind of want to be surprised. But the original Nier, like I said, the combat was not, it was really repetitive. So I understand the criticisms, but it had such an amazing story. And Kaine is one of my favorite characters. She banters with this book Wise, and we'll see what happens in their story when it's with the brother this time around, because obviously I haven't experienced that, but I'm super excited. And the Nier games always have good music, so you can at least count on that. Boom. Mic drop.
I didn't play the original, but I took a chance on Automata. That was one of my favorite games of the year, so I'm actually
Auto Tomato, yeah.
Version 0.5 dash whatever.
I don't play games.
Yoko
that
Taro
have more than
is
5 numbers in the
amazing.
title.
Poor Yoko Taro, because that guy is a treasure. That's all I say.
This was like 8 or 9 years ago, honestly. It might have been for the first Nier. I don't know. I had an interview. For some reason, I got put on this. I think it was before you joined him. But I had got an interview with Yoko Taro, and I had no idea what I was going into. I walked in, and he was wearing his like globe helmet thing, and I was like, "What is this?" And he did the whole interview with that thing on, that mask on.
Yep, he doesn't like to take it off. I do have I took a picture of me and him on my phone without it, and he's like, "You can never show anyone." So I've got the secret photo of Yoko Taro on my. Actually, I interviewed him for our interview section when I was in Japan a few years ago. One of my favorite interviews I've ever done, because the guy's just hilarious and really fun on his feet. But I brought him beer because he loves his beer, and he was the happiest camper. We just sat there, cracked a beer together, and did the interview, and it was so fun because he just says such like off the wall stuff. Where he's just like, "Yeah, I'm in this for the money. I want the money." Like, did he
drink it through the helmet?
We did the interview with the helmet off, and then we
see, that's the trick. You got to bring him beer.
He said I can never show it to anyone.
Throw it right off.
What kind of beer did you bring him?
At the time, I remember I went to the store and I was like, it was my fiance took Japanese all through high school and a little bit of college, so he can speak. I cannot. I want to preface that. When I asked them for like what I went to a freaking like 7-Eleven. I was like, "Give me your nicest stuff or whatever." And I think I got
7-Eleven.
Your finest beer.
Yeah, your finest cheap. Your finest whatever. Cheap beer. He said I picked a good one. I asked him. He said I picked a good one. Yadasu, I think, or whatever. But it was decent.
Do you know how you say beer in Japan?
Biru.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing.
Yeah, I love it.
Just put your finger out and you're like,
see, I know words like a toddler, but I can't. I always rely on my fiance to get me around.
The only thing I have for May is Deathloop on May 21st.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for, because that's Arcane. Studios, the guys who do Dishonored and Prey. I think this game looks cool. It's another stuck in a time loop type game, but hey, I'm on board for that.
Yeah, me too. Arcane is like one of my favorite devs ever.
Me too.
And Deathloop looks really cool.
Yeah, can't really add much to that. I really want to play that game. I concur. And then another Alex game on June 22nd, Back for Blood.
Yes. Yep. I played this with Alex.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, another Kim game too. Yeah, the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, you could say.
Very excited for that.
Like, we have some coverage on the site, so if you want
we do
that game, check out our new
game. That game's fun. We can play that next, guys.
Yes, there we go.
That.
Mapping out the year. This is great.
I played the beta with strangers, and I felt really bad because I'm pretty sure I was like objectively the worst, and I kept dying.
It's okay. I always am, and I don't care. Well, I spent all my time reviving people, and I'm like, I should really be shooting, but my
exactly. That's
over there.
You're the person I feel bad for. I was like, I feel like they're noticing. It's the net they're tired of me.
Yeah, I think my top 3 as far as like what I'm anticipating for the next year is Back for Blood, Deathloop, and Hitman 3. Like those are the 3 for me that are like, let's go. You know,
The Van Aken 3.
Yep.
Wow. Cool. Well, that's all I have for exact dates. I do have a long list of stuff that's like likely coming out this year, but just doesn't have a date yet. And I'll just run down that real quick. 12 minutes. Great looking indie game.
Yep.
It's awesome. Axiom Verge 2, which another
Please.
Metroid style.
Please come out
inspired
this
game.
year.
Yeah, I'm ready for that one for sure. Let's see. Biomutant.
Yes.
That game's been around forever.
That game's been in development for feels like forever.
Yeah.
I have a good feeling that it's going to be this year though.
Yeah, it's the coolest game I regularly forget is happening.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
That's the best way
basically
to
playing
put
as
it. That is.
some kind of like fuzzy critter, right? And you kind of get to build your own creature, but
Yeah,
there's
like splicing.
action RPG. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool as hell.
Excuse me, Boyfriend Dungeon,
Yes.
Nice.
which for some reason I thought that had already come out, but that's coming out.
No.
theoretically
It's
for
another
Switch
one
and
that's been
PC.
like shuffled around. Will come out when it's ready. But yeah, you get to date your weapons. Come on now.
Dating sim where you date your weapons, which
Yeah,
obviously
people already do that, you might argue.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe I don't know.
Hopefully.
Hopefully they.
I hope they do.
Yeah, I can't back out of that one. Can't make that one work. Next game, Crash Bandicoot on the Run, which I didn't even know this was announced, but it's an iOS/Android game.
Okay.
Supposedly coming out, Crash Bandicoot games, which I
Yeah.
looked into. I was like, oh, that's cool. Cyberpunk 2077 should theoretically be coming
Can't
out
wait.
for next gen consoles.
The
We'll see
game looks
what
pretty
happens.
promising, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Elden Ring,
Oh yeah.
which is the new From Software game that's done in conjunction with George R.R. Martin.
Yeah. I think that
Far
game's
Cry.
done and are waiting for George. That's
Yeah.
my
Oh
theory.
gosh, and it's
George
never
wrote.
coming.
Like Miyazaki's
wrote-
just sitting on it.
Yeah.
4 of the 10 chapters, and they're just waiting
Yeah.
for them to finish. Let's see. Yeah, Elden Ring, then Far Cry 6, which for some reason in my mind, I had it in my mind that it was coming out in February. But
Yeah,
guess there's not
It
really an
was
official date.
slated for the
Yeah,
first
I think it got pushed out.
Yeah, it got pushed out. It was supposed to be like February, March.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do a good Far Cry game again.
Yeah.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yes.
I'm so
which
excited
is
for that.
Theoretically, it's kind of a survival horror game,
Yeah.
so that could be good. Again, I don't know if this is coming out this year or not, but God of War is technically labeled for this year.
Mm.
The new God of War sequel.
The fact we haven't seen anything since the reveal makes me a little. But I mean, they
Yeah.
could show it at any time. That's the power of God of War, and they'll be
That's
fine.
true. And they have that foundation. Like enough time, I think, has passed from that
Mhm.
last game that it wouldn't shock me if it came out this year.
It was what, 2018?
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
So it'll be 4
So,
years.
3-year
Three.
development.
I have a feeling that's going to get
Technically.
pushed.
I think it'll get pushed, yeah. Gotham Knights, which from Warner Brothers Montreal,
Yep.
the team that originally worked on Batman Origins, which I like.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Game's
I know
fun.
some people make fun of that one, but I like that one. But yeah, this is the game where you play as Batwoman / Red Hood / Nightwing / Robin. You can play as any of them and play a co-op, which is cool too.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm really excited for this. I actually forgot
Me too.
this is coming out this year.
Same here.
Well, theoretically, yeah. None
Yeah.
of these have dates, but we'll see. Gran Turismo 7, new racing
Cool.
game, obviously. Halo Infinite,
Let's
which
go.
that got delayed, but more power to them. Hopefully, the extra time will be great. Hogwarts Legacy, the Avalanche game
Oh
that's
yeah.
set in the Harry Potter universe.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, which the timeline, it's like set in the 1800s or something, right? I believe
Yeah.
it's set before so Harry Potter's not going to be in it, but what are the chances that you'll meet somebody named Potter?
Probably pretty high.
Meet
That'd be super dumb, but I could see them
Elvin
doing it.
Potter or something.
Elvin,
like that.
yeah, Elvin Potter.
Great grandfather Jebediah Potter.
But yeah, it's like it's open world, right? I remember.
Yeah.
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 So everybody's in it.
It's got to be, yeah.
Hollow Knight Silk Song is another game I'm interested in.
I'm so excited for that. I love that first game so much. So I hope that sticks to this year because I don't think it still doesn't have a date.
How do you guys feel about Horizon Forbidden West?
Woo! That first game's real good.
Yes. My favorite cover story that I've done. I just love the story behind Guerrilla Games, like just being like, yeah, let's put this Killzone thing aside and just totally go run with an idea that excites us with as our imaginations about like these mechanical beasts. And Aloy is one of my favorite freaking female characters of recent years. Just like her confidence and determination. And for this, I just like too that they're changing up the scenery. There's new machines, new tribes, going westward. Like we saw, like the Golden Gate Bridge. So San Francisco, obviously, is going to be in there. And there's a lot of underwater stuff too. So there better be like a shark
robot
shark thing. Yeah,
oh
shark bot.
Robo Jaws.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm excited at the possibilities of what we're going to see. And I think what Horizon does so well is that sense of discovery. And you're doing that, through Aloy. And I just get excited thinking of like the world that Guerrilla is going to create again and how they're going to follow that all up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about the shark thing. They could call it Mechalodon.
Well, they showed in the trailer. Yeah, they didn't show the shark, like a shark in the trailer, but they've got to have one. But they showed like a mechanical elephant that was really cool. Like, I am all here for it. I want to see what they come up with. Think of all the ideas they probably have cooking with the mechanical beasts. I'm excited.
I want to see what they do with the story because I love that first game's plot. And I'm always surprised that they stick the landing on it as well as they do.
Yeah.
And it felt like it tied the bow so well on like Aloy's personal story as well as like the overarching story of like, this is what happened to the world. That I was like, I don't really have a lot of questions left.
Yeah, I feel like they did leave it open that there would be another. Like it was pretty...
There was that ending, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I want to see what they come up with. Like I don't know if we learn more about Aloy or what if any other things about, or not the previous world, or just if it'll just focus on like that ending and just go forward.
Well, I mean, there's some stuff going on with like the weather. If you watch the trailer, is really crazy. So
because it's it's like a virus, right?
Yeah, and there's also a blight. Yeah, so there's like all this stuff going on. So I think Aloy's probably gonna have to like again save the world from extinction. Probably like do her thing, help the people. Be the hero we know she can be.
That first game came out the same year as Breath of the Wild. I just remember those games being really close together, and that was a great year. And
that was a great year.
This year we got the sequel to the Horizon, and then also the Breath of the Wild sequel. Let's make it happen, everybody.
Same week. Drop them both.
Same week. Oh boy. Cool. Also on my list, I have Hytale, which is that Minecraft style game that's trying to out Minecraft. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which we had on our cover a couple months back.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Looking game. It's like your action adventure. You meeting these like weird little people refer to them as like
the rot
style creatures. Yeah, they're called the rot.
I have one right here.
Wait, what?
Oh, look how adorable they are.
Was that game originally a launch game? I feel like this whole time associated it with launch.
It was supposed to be, yeah.
Okay,
it was a launch game. I got delayed, so it'll probably be this year.
Oh.
Kerbal Space Program 2 is theoretically coming out next year, as is Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, which, man, that game's been delayed quite a bit. So I like what they were doing with what they looked like they were doing with the Skywalker Saga. So hopefully they pull that off. Another game I put on the list is Maquette, which I'm excited about. It's
me too.
One of those world within worlds style games where you have a little model of the city in front of you while you're playing it. Anything you do to the model happens in your world. A lot of cool puzzles associated with that. Also, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is coming out next year, which I'm surprised we don't have a date for that because it feels like that'd be soon.
Yeah.
But
you think they drop it on N7 Day?
Well, that's
far away.
I know that's kind of far, but
that feels far off. I feel like it'd be coming out sooner than that. But didn't they announce it on N7?
Yeah.
They announced it on N7. That's what happened. Yeah. Okay. No More Heroes 3.
Oh, I forgot that was coming.
Yeah, I
Any
forgot
of
about
you
that too.
No More Heroes fans?
I've never played them.
Yeah, I never really got into
I've been
them.
interested from
They're
afar. Like,
fun.
I feel like I would like them, but I just never played them.
Oddworld Soulstorm, Lauren Lanning's sequel to the Oddworld games. I like those games. I'm looking forward to this one. I can use more of that platforming. And speaking of platforming, Psychonauts 2, which hopefully that finally comes out.
I'm excited for that. That game's announcement was actually the first interview I'd ever done, and it was when I was interning at GI. And I'd never interviewed anyone ever. And Ben, you were the one that gave me that assignment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was you. You're like, hey, you want to talk to Tim Schafer and like break the news about Psychonauts 2 fake campaigns? I think people forgot that was a fake campaign at first.
Why did we have an intern do that?
I don't know. I gotta stare
I was
at
just
you.
thinking that, but I didn't want to say it out loud.
Because I was like, that was a weird thing. Because I was excited because I'm a huge, like, I love Double Fine and I love that first game. So I was like, what? They're doing a second one? Oh my God. And then, like, wait, you want me to talk to Tim Schafer? Oh my God. And also, I've never done this. Holy crap. This is terrifying. But I didn't question it.
I read something recently on Twitter about that. Hold on, I'm going to look.
Yeah.
The first time I met Tim Schafer, he ran up to me and he was like, hey, have we met before? And he was like pointing at me. He was like, no, sir, we haven't, but nice to meet you. He's like, oh, okay, good.
You should have rolled with it. Like, hey, man, what's up?
Hey, yeah, I was saying
Buddy.
your wedding.
At the barbecue. Yeah.
Remember?
All right.
That game was great.
Yeah, that game does look great. I hope it comes together. Rainbow Six Quarantine, which we'll see. I'm really curious to see what happens with that one. That was the one that's like zombie or something infested Rainbow Six, but I have a feeling they'll change the name, everybody says. I kind of wonder if that game's still happening. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Yes.
Which I believe was also originally supposed to be a launch game.
Was
for
it?
The PlayStation. It was at least launch window.
Launch window, yeah.
But at this point,
Okay. I thought it never got a date.
I feel like it get pushed back into the fall at this point. You never know.
Yeah, I'm a huge Ratchet and Clank fan. Like I am so excited for that. Like you have no idea.
I have an idea because I'm also excited for it, Marcus.
All right, we have the same idea.
Yeah. Here's another game I'm really excited for. Resident Evil Village.
Ooh.
Yes.
I feel like this doesn't have a date, but I feel like March-ish could be good because don't they usually hit that early, like February or March window?
They have pretty much since 7. All of them have. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like it's got to be close. They're probably about to announce a date. Maybe they're announcing a date as we speak and we're missing it. But another horror game, Scorn, that kind of grotesque H.R. Geiger looking game.
Oh yeah, the drippy game.
Yeah.
The drippy.
Shin Megami Tensei 5? Did I say that right?
Shin Megami Tensei 5, yeah.
Now, Kim, what's the difference between this and Persona? I feel like I get those confused.
So originally to market in North America, they put the Shin Megami Tensei name on the Persona games, but they weren't really part of the series, so it confused people. It was just to have them all under one umbrella. But SMT is a little different, usually has demon negotiation and isn't like, there's not like the social components, but there's still like dungeon crawling. A lot of the mechanics from the Persona battle system are in the SMT, and the SMT kind of has different alignments you can go with, like chaotic, neutral, all that fun stuff. Yeah. So usually a little different plot with some choice of how you want to, like I said, align yourself and all that. But I'm excited because this was like announced like when Switch was first coming out, and
it's been floating.
Finally got the trailer, which was
I want to say, wasn't it announced around the time Octopath was? For some reason, I have those two in my brain.
I just remember writing editorial on how like the Switch was going to be great for RPGs, and this was like way back when it was first coming out, and I'd use that as an example because it was announced, and that was like years ago. So like, woof. It's people have been waiting for this one. They're excited for it. So hopefully we see more of it. Hopefully it does come out this year.
Cool. Do you know what Shin Megami Tensei means? Does that mean something in Japanese?
I actually don't know
That'd be
the
a good
answer.
question. If somebody knows the answer, somebody should write in or something. All right, moving on. If you're a fan of skating games, that game Skatebird, I thought this was going to come out last year and it never did, but you're a little bird on a skateboard.
Yep.
Oh, it means rebirth, reincarnation of the goddess, referring to the fact that the protagonists are reincarnated gods. Sorry.
That's what Skatebird means? Why? They should just call that series Rebirth. I think that's a better name than...
I knew it was something on that order, but I didn't want to speak out of turn.
What if they called it Returnal?
Ooh, now you're on it. All right, Skatebird looks cute. If you like normal skating games, Skater XL is also supposedly...
I played a demo of Skatebird that went out to like Patreon members or something a while back. I'm interested to see like the finalized version of it because it's cute, it's fun, you know. Skating birds.
I want that game to be good. I'm excited for it. All right, Lord of the Rings Golem is also supposedly coming out.
Nice.
Where you play as Golem.
Yeah, this is a weird one.
Yeah, I don't know what that game is, except for like I don't know when it takes timeline or anything, or if it's canon. Do you just clutch a ring the whole game?
Yeah, I was just saying, whoever said like, it'd be cool. Let's play as Golem.
Yeah, it's a ring collection game.
Could be like a stealth game where you're like avoiding, you know, the hobbits.
Everyone, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, in The Hobbit, he was like a super scary character, and then in the Lord of the Rings, books,
he's a little nuisance, really.
Kind of just a little S. You know
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of blood, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which...
So I was really excited for this game, but it's been delayed a lot and a lot of
some shakeups.
Staff changes. Yeah, staff shakeups. That's usually not a great thing.
That could push it out of this year. We'll see if it even comes out, but
yeah,
it was on my list, so I figured I'd mention it. And we skipped over a lot of stuff too, but those are some of the highlights just to give everybody a general sense of some of the exciting stuff you can look forward to in this year. Like, games are still happening. I'm kind of curious with the quarantine and the virus that's definitely affected people's developers' ability to work, and they've done a good job of getting stuff out. So it might slow down some things. I guess I would anticipate some slowdown of releases, but stuff's still coming out. We're still getting some good games, so be excited, everybody.
Can I call out? I was surprised it wasn't on the list because it has a 2021 window as a Solar Ash by Heart Machine, the follow-up to Hyper Light Drifter. That one's I'm personally excited because I love Hyper Light. So, and I think the look of Solar Ash looks like, still don't really know what it is outside of like a kind of platformer where you got like Shadow the Hedgehog skates or something. But it looks really cool, and I love that first game so much that I'll pretty much play whatever they got coming out. So just wanted to shout that out real quick.
All right, let me. That's a good call, man. Throw on your prognosticating hats. Oh boy, that's a word. Prognosticating hats. Dream with me, if you will. It's now December 31st, 2021. What is your game of the year?
Horizon.
Oh, Horizon's a good choice.
Are we including
2021?
Oh, Splinter.
I'm willing to end it existence.
That's what they're going to call it? 2021? Just super lazy.
Splinter Cell, whitelist. I don't know. What's the opposite of conviction? Apathy,
hunger,
indecisive.
That's the name of the new Splinter Cell game.
Marcus, what about you?
I wasn't prepared for this. We'll say Ratchet and Clank. Let's really throw a Hail Mary there.
That's a good choice. I'm gonna go with I'm dreaming along with Alex here. Breath of the Wild 2. Mark it. It's coming out this year, I swear. All right.
Ready.
Somebody write in at the end of the year and hold us to these picks. I'm curious to see how close we're all.
Put them in a sealed envelope.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, great. Well, that ends our recap of 2021. Obviously, a little taste, obviously. I'm excited to see how the year actually shakes out. But yeah, it's fun to look forward. You guys want to take a break and come back for some emails?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. And we're back, everybody. Back to do some emails. These are emails that you get to send in. podcast@GameInformer.com. You can ask us anything. It's an AMA for Game Informer. You can think of it that way if you want. Also send in games. You can send in characters you want us to rank. Send in recommendations for required reading. I'll take it all, honestly. Just like this first email from Esteban from Chile writes in. He says, I've played some modern JRPGs like the Tales games, the Legend of Heroes, and the Persona series, but I have never played the Final Fantasy series, which is crazy if you played all those other ones. With the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake, I thought about finally getting into the series. Which of the entries in the series are worth going back to, and in what order?
Oh, this is a loaded question.
So he played the remake, Final Fantasy VII.
Well, he doesn't say that.
He's thinking
says
about
with
it.
the release of the remake, he's thought about going back to the series. So I don't think he's even played the remake yet.
I'll ask anyone, and anybody will tell you different games have aged well and haven't. If we're gonna go with like by console, like a recommendation, I would say like PS1. 9's my personal pick, but a lot of people love going back to the systems of 8 and breaking them. 8's not one of my favorites, but you know, I thought 7 held up okay, but a lot of people who don't have nostalgia for it to go back to it, it's very hard. 10 is a sure bet for PS2. I think that's one of the easiest ones, actually, in my opinion, to go back to and play. I still really like 10 a lot. Skip the 13 trilogy of the PS3. I don't have a recommendation there. But honestly, it's so hard to say like this is the one or this is the order to play them in. See what characters you're interested in, need to know. Play remake. I think going in that fresh is fine. I think you'll have a different perspective from it, but it'll be easier to just pick up, play, and get into. But yeah, I think, like I said, I feel like 10 has aged pretty well. 12 just had that big like remaster that they did that people really like, that had a bunch of quality of life improvements. I'm not a fan of 12 personally, but a lot of people I know will fight me on that and love that game. So, hey, more power to you. It's like, which Final Fantasy sounds interesting to you? And then, like I said, Square's done a good job with a lot of the games, even to go back and play the original 7. Like, I did that not too long ago, and you know, they had some stuff to like turn off random battles if you wanted to just explore and figure out where the heck you need to go, which was always annoying going into it, speed up combat, stuff like that. So there are some stuff to make it not as difficult. What are your guys' picks?
Yeah, go out.
I just got one. I'm not a Final Fantasy fan. Let me preface this.
Oh, okay.
But Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is one of my favorite games of all time.
Good pick. I was gonna say Tactics.
Yeah, that I actually went. I have like a local retro game shop near me, and earlier last year I went and picked up an old Game Boy Advance and Final Fantasy Tactics, and that game is so good.
I love the Tactics.
And one of my favorite like tutorializations too, like the snowball fight you did.
Yeah, that
was great.
Yeah.
The original Tactics might be my favorite Final Fantasy, honestly. Like, I really like that game. Yeah,
it's so good. Oh, it's so
See, I didn't know we were including
I
Tactics.
I always kind of forget about the Tactics because it feels like a different thing to me. If you're talking about Final Fantasy Pure, which I think he probably is, since he's talking about JRPGs, not Tactics games, I would say probably your best bet is 10. Kind of like Kim was saying. I think it's not modern necessarily, but it's like closest to feeling like modern Final Fantasy.
It's 20 years old now, isn't it? Isn't that crazy to think?
Yeah.
But it's still a really good game and one of the better narratives, I think, in the series.
I would say
remastered too.
My personal favorite is 6. So if you want like an old school, like SNES looking game, I think that game is just
I think it. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, my answer, I was gonna tier iterations of Final Fantasy. I want like classic style Final Fantasy. I think 6 like by far is the one, and I think it still holds up very well, like gameplay wise and presentation wise. And then if you want that PS1 era Final Fantasy, I would opt 9 because I think it's aged probably the best of those 3.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
And it's like, and they've ported those games, like they're on Game Pass and Switch too, so they're readily available. And then for PS2, I think 10 and 12. I love 12, Kim, so we would fight.
Let's do it.
10's probably my second favorite of the series. I adore that game, and
I love 10.
It's so good, and they have that remaster that's out there, and the same, like you said, with 12. And 12's cool, especially if you're, I don't want to say more casual, but just the kind of more MMO-ish style combat, like being able to see the monsters stuff. I think, I don't want to say easier, but in a way, kind of. And I think that game is really fun to break. And then the remake, Final Fantasy remake. I think honestly, I'd say start there. Just start right there.
Yeah. I think we threw a lot at them. I think 6 and 10 kind of came up a lot, which are good choices. So I would recommend starting with one of those if you're in the mood for an old game. If you want just brand new, you can start with 7. Cool. Well, hopefully it helps you out, Esteban. All right, next email. Derek from Rochester writes in. He says, I have 2 questions for the team. 2 questions? That's cheating. Give us 2 emails next time, buddy. He says, what is your favorite Supergiant game? And what genre do you think Supergiant should make next? Like a first-person shooter, RPG, tactics game, etc. You guys have a favorite Supergiant game?
They're all so good. So it's a really hard pick. I'm going to go for some, like, just because I feel like it's a little more underrated, is Pyre. Because, like, that game, give me that NBA champ style, like, as the sports fan in me, and then have the duels and deciding, like, who gets to stay and who gets to go on your team. Like, it ended up just being, like, a really, like I said, Supergiant's so good at those engaging loops that just really pull you in. But I feel like for that story, just of having to involve me in those decisions really impacted me, because I also really like Bastion and feel like that story is done very well. But I didn't have the involvement the way that I did with Pyre, where I actually was like agonizing over everything. So that made it really intense for me. And I think people forget about Pyre. I wish more people played it.
Pyre. I think Pyre could be the best sports drama ever.
Yes.
Honestly, it's.
I
really
don't know. If you
good.
play NBA 2K, those stories of frequency vibrations are pretty intense.
If only Spike Lee wrote Pyre.
Just as a recap for people who maybe aren't in the know, Supergiant, they made Bastion, they made Transistor, Pyre, which we mentioned, and recently Hades, which honestly, Kim, I agree with you that Pyre is maybe the most underrated. But it's also my pick, I think, because I actually like that combat, the sports game element to it. And I liked the world building and narrative in there maybe the most. I think my number 2 is probably Hades.
I think I'm flip-flopped. I think prior to Hades, Pyre was my favorite. And it's still like, it's pretty high up there. But Hades was my game of the year last year, and I just sunk so many hours into it. It's hard to think of another one of their games as my favorite. You know what I mean? But yeah, Pyre and Hades both up there for me.
Yeah, Hades, that was my game of the year last year too. I adore all their games. I will just give a quick shout out to Transistor, because I think 5 people that really like that game. People like that game, but I think even more so than Pyre, people kind of forget that one.
Agree.
But I think that game's really cool. So
in terms of what they should do next, I love the idea of them doing some kind of tactics game. Maybe even maybe even like a real-time tactics thing. It doesn't even have to be like a turn-based, but I'd love some tactical thing, because their combat is already kind of like tactical. There's a lot of thought they put into that.
Yeah, and Transistor's kind of that, and that was a really unique system. So like an expansion, especially if they had if they combined that with Pyre of like the tactics of Transistor, but then like the kind of like party and character building with Pyre of like, oh, you gotta send these people out and you could lose them after you form really close bonds with them, like permadeath or something.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think you're right. The tactics strategy, like some sort of like XCOM or like Invisible
Fire
Ink.
Emblem.
Yeah.
That's
Invisible
right
Ink is totally the game I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
That almost feels like it was halfway to a Supergiant game.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I think the only other thing, and this is really left field, a like Stardew Valley thing, like an Animal Crossing.
Ooh.
I feel like I feel like the studio can do anything, honestly, but like
Exactly. I was just gonna say, like, this is what's funny about this is anything feels possible. Like, I never expected them to do anything like Pyre with the sports genre, you know? So it's like you could sit here and like every game that they try is so different in how they like the gameplay execution and kind of the genre they go for that. Yeah, whatever they do next, like it's anybody's guess, right? Because it could very well be something like a simulation type game like you're talking about.
Especially because like they're so good at writing characters want to hang out. Like they just like if you stripped away the action of Hades and it was just hanging out in the underworld and just talking to everybody and checking in on them, they just did that and then just gave you like fun systems of like, oh, I'm gonna go fishing. I mean, there's fishing in Hades. And like grow crops or whatever thing that they want to put into it. And I feel like they would find a way to make that genre compelling in a way you didn't expect, the way that they did with Hades and roguelikes. So like, I'm not even like a huge fan of those kind of games, or I haven't played enough of them, but I love Animal Crossing, the couple that I played, but like that popped in my mind of like, what if they did one of them? I feel like they would knock it out.
Yeah. Supergiant. They're so hot right now.
So hot.
They're doing it. Okay. Next email. From Alex from Cleveland, Tennessee. He says, with Flash games leaving this week, you guys are familiar with this, I'm sure, but yeah, like Adobe ended support of Flash, which is kind of sad because Flash was pretty influential, I guess, product, you can call it program in the world of game development, especially.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says, Alex says, I thought it'd be a good time to acknowledge its importance. And then personally, I never grew up with a console and I didn't get one until you could buy a PS3. But Flash games were important to me in the gaming sphere. Such great games will be missed, like Robotron, good grief. Dobo's Big Adventure, which I love that game. Also, Mario 63, Super Smash Flash 2, etc. I have the fondest memories of using elves to play shuffleboard and endless levels of Invasion 3. Anyway, he says, do you guys have any fond memories of Flash games back in the day? It's totally fine if you don't. I mostly pulled this email because I just wanted to highlight Flash. And I do have a feature that I wrote a while back just called How Flash Games Changed Video Game History. It's up on the site. It was in the magazine. It's also on the site if you want to check it out. How Flash Games Changed Video Game History. If you don't know a lot about Flash, I recommend checking it out because turns out it's important
piece.
Yeah.
I think the one that comes to mind for me is like, well, number one, like newgrounds.com. Like I grew up going there, but more specifically like Alien Hominid. That was a big one that started as Flash before it came to the Xbox 360 arcade. Yeah, that's probably the biggest one that I can pull from as far as like specifics. But yeah, I grew up playing Flash, like whether it was like, you know, rip-offs of like Cartoon Network games or whatever. Like it was great.
Well, and we also talked about Super Meat Boy earlier. Like that started as a Flash game. So there's a lot of stuff that I talked to a bunch of developers who worked in Flash, and they're like, it was just so easy to use, and we love it. The In Plus is another one that I just love those games.
Right.
Fun little platformers.
Yeah,
there was a game that came out. Sorry, Marcus, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say like I wish I had a more specific memories. I know I've like Flash was always one of those games I would dink around with every now and then, but like you know you try a thing and move on, so nothing super sticks out. But you mentioned a Bobo Big Adventure, and I did play all of that and loved it. And I think the game also has still to this day the funniest achievement I've ever seen in the game. Where early on, I think if you like punch a gas barrel and it explodes, like it's like a clearly labeled red barrel, punch in the face, and there's an idiot, and that's how you get it. It's like blowing yourself up from like an obviously labeled can. I just breathe it like just idiot. It's just remember cracking up at that, and no achievement has topped that yet for me.
Is there a way to play that game still? I wonder if there's a way to play. I mean, I know there's kind of like preservation sites out there preserving Flash games, so you can look into that if you want to go relive your history. But specifically, Adobo's Big Adventure, if somebody knows how to play that, I would love to know.
Yeah, that game's good.
Cool. Next email. Dan from Boston writes in. He says, I was just watching my second viewing of the Sonic Super Replay. And he says all 26 wonderful episodes, which that's insane that we recorded that many hours.
I watched that whole thing too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I lived it, and I think I blocked most of it out.
I was there.
God.
He says this is indulgent, but he says the group got into talking about benventions. One of my favorite was the Pogo stick, which is a pogo stick / chia pet combination. He says, has Ben had any more recent benventions to advertise?
We need to
So the answer is, yeah. We talk about it on replay a couple times, but let's see. One of them that I liked was fondue. Fondue that looks like poop.
Great.
I can't know if some of these got way out of order, so I don't know if I did already bring these up. But coffee pots, which is just coffee brewed in potted plants. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly. Apricorns, which is apricot corn snacks,
Okay.
or it
You
could
could-
be like corn stuffed apricots. I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot of-
I could get behind that.
Beauty of benventions is you just have to come up with the name, and then
I love fondue.
is secondary.
That's very good.
I have some nieces and nephews who I think would enjoy that. There's something about being a kid and like eating poop that's fun, right?
Like
No.
actually doing it, or
We might have had different childhoods.
What? What are you talking about? You guys don't like to snack on some turds?
I agree. It's like the same reason that like I ate like purple ketchup or green ketchup as a kid.
Oh, I had that too.
I
Yeah.
have that.
That thing
Green
messed with
ketchup
your
isn't that
brain
gross.
so much.
Yeah.
Made you think it was frosting, but it's ketchup.
Did you guys ever hear? I think it's like an urban legend, but there's like some supposed study that happened back in the 50s where people ate food under special lights so they couldn't see what color it was, and then they turned off the special lights and they could see that the steak they were eating was blue. Like they'd use some food coloring or something to turn it blue, and people started puking because of the like it was so weird that they were eating this blue
Oh.
thing.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely like, I mean, we're getting way into the weeds, but like, I know, like, I remember seeing some sort of videos, like, if you want to lose weight or whatever, replace your refrigerator light bulb with a blue light bulb, and your mind will think it's bad when you open up your fridge.
Is there something with the color blue
Yeah, I think so.
in particular?
It's just blue occurs so rarely in food.
Yeah.
Oh, mold is
That-
blue.
Well, and maybe that's it. Is you don't want to eat mold, right?
That-
So
Yeah.
you just genetically reprocessed. Like if it's blue, you don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
That's what
Unless
the
it's-
song blue. That's what the song
That's
blue.
actually
Eiffel
what's going through
65
my
is
head, and
about.
I'm trying not to sing it because I don't want to
Yeah, that's,
get
Don't
it in
infect
everyone
us all,
else's head
please.
who's listening. But now it's there.
it's in my
Marcus
head
did it.
now.
All right. Dan also says, "Oh, also here are some characters to rank." Oh no! You guys,
Oh
you guys
no!
prep for this?
It was a
You guys
trap.
ready?
Oh man!
Let's do it.
I think we should do this guy a solid and rank some characters. We have a list on our site. It's called Game Informer's Meaningless Character Rankings, where we take every character ever made and we list them on a ranking from 0 to
Hero.
0 to hero. 0 to currently we are at 49.
Wow.
Remember it.
Yeah,
which
I
is
have
actually
We're gonna
What's
hit
up now?
50. We gotta have a party.
We should have a party. What's the point? We could all wear hats. We could eat some cake.
Can't have a party without hats. I've always said that.
Okay, so I sent you guys the list just so you can check it out. I will mark it up here. You guys ready for this?
Oh,
Let's
man.
dive in. Number one character to rank on this guy's list on on Dan's list is Mimir from God of War 2018.
Oh,
Oh.
He's basically the little head that
Yeah.
Kratos carries around. You guys
It's
have any love
definitely-
for Mimir?
I
yeah,
do.
he's great. He tells stories.
I'm looking at our list right now, trying to figure out where he would
Yeah.
go.
He's pretty. I think he'd be pretty high. I was entertained by him. Some
I like
levity
that
to
he's
that
just a
game.
head. There's not many
Yeah.
characters that are just heads, right?
Is he the best severed head in video
Let's
games?
see. It's not severed, but what you got Dusa from Hades,
Yeah.
but she's
Well, no,
basically
you do cut his head off because he's like tied to that tree, right? He's like
no.
bound
I'm
to it.
saying Dusa's head isn't severed.
Oh, Dusa, yeah, Dusa's great.
Mimir's is There's also the severed head from Lollipop Chainsaw, which is what her boyfriend.
Oh, her boyfriend keychain
Oh
head.
yeah, that's right. God, I
Yeah.
forgot about that game.
Me too. I played that game.
Yeah, Mimir's better than that guy. So
I feel like I would place Mimir somewhere between Sam Fisher at number 27 and Tingle at number 35.
I was looking at Sam Fisher and
Same
Solaire around there too. I was like, because I almost went higher than I saw Aura.
Yeah, he's not getting past. Sorry.
Yeah, I think Orin is his ceiling. I don't have feelings for Sam Fisher, so
okay, but we're not even going to entertain this idea, Marcus. He is not going above Sam Fisher. Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Not on my watch.
Okay.
Solaire's the praise the sun guy, right? In Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Mimir's probably better than that guy. That guy's
there's
goofy.
a big gap between him and Sam Fisher. It's weird. But then Mega Man is like right under that at 29, which I feel like Mega Man got the short shrift there.
Is it because Mega Man isn't much of a character? Is that why?
Yeah.
I think that's probably it.
Yeah.
Guybrush is a good character. I don't want it to go over Guybrush though.
You know, like Mimir's more. He tells a lot of stories. Have you heard of him?
He does. Guybrush is a little more charming.
I think Mimir could probably go above Fox McCloud. I like the Star Fox.
I agree.
Fox isn't much of a character.
So in between
he
Fox
beats Toad
and Guybrush,
Jackson.
I think he beats Toad Jackson, right? I don't know.
you know,
Both have good heads. Both got good heads.
Yeah.
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 You know, it's an upset, but you know what? If we can't put him above Guybrush, I'd say in between Guybrush.
I don't know. Does anybody want to make an argument that Mimir from God of War is worse than Toad Jackson from the Super Mario Brothers?
I'm not going to make that argument.
No, I think where you were thinking around Fox McCloud is a good spot.
So right above Fox, right below Guybrush? Is that what we're thinking?
I think so. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
I think that's
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Let's
The
do
new
it.
number
Gavel it.
31. Mimir. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Mimir.
I think I am. Okay. All right. He did just say he'd watched all of the Super Replay Sonic 06. So I guess he wrote in Silver the Hedgehog from Sonic 06.
All right. Let me scroll to the bottom of
Honestly, might give Ashley Graham a run for her money.
Honestly, so here's the thing about Silver the Hedgehog. So I also played all of Sonic 06, and it was funny because I played it the same year you guys did the Super Replay, and literally when I finished it, you guys started that replay. So when I watched it was like reliving a nightmare that I had just finished.
That's a lot of Sonic 06 for you.
What compelled you to play that?
So like personal challenge, I had this weird phase in college intentionally playing like notoriously bad games to see if I could finish them. So I played like Bullet Witch and like Vampire Rain or whatever, like back to back and beating them. And then Sonic, because I grew up a Sonic fan and I love Sonic, but I like Genesis Sonic. I'm not really a fan of 3D Sonic.
Yeah.
And so Sonic 06, notoriously awful, didn't play it at launch because I heard it was terrible. But I was like, you know what? I'm on a roll. I'm beating these bad games. I'm a good gamer. Let's do it. Let's give this a shot. And I played other 3D, like in my adulthood, played other 3D terrible Sonic games and finished them. So I played all of that and it was awful. And what made it worse was that I intentionally paused my very first playthrough of Ocarina of Time to get through this, which drove my friend insane at the time. He's like, what the hell?
It's driving me insane right now.
But I was like, it was like funny in points of like, oh, this is so bad. But then it got real. When things got real nasty, particularly with Silver the Hedgehog, because his boss fight is so infuriating in that game because he like just stun locks you constantly because he just like
that's right.
He
also says stun lock, doesn't he? Doesn't he say stun lock?
No, he says there's no use or something like that, and he says it over and over because he just like has.
But you made him sound cooler when you said it.
Well, I'm his voice actor actually. I don't know if he knows that. But yeah, he has this. Again? There's no use.
What is that reminding me of? That reminds me of like
Silver the Hedgehog.
Chappelle. That's like Dave Chappelle doing a voice.
Dave Chappelle as
white guy or something.
No, if Dave Chappelle played Silver the Hedgehog, he'd probably
he'd be up here with Arthur Morgan. You're right.
But yeah, he does that stun lock where he like throws you, and then when you're down, he just keeps picking you back up with his psychic. Can't do anything. You just die. And because of that, I think he's probably below Ashley Graham, who is annoying, but like at least her annoyance is kind of almost intentional. Like she's not broken; it's just annoying. Whereas like Silver, it's like, no, this game is just buggy and dumb, and I don't know how I can't do anything here. Like I don't know what to do to get past this.
Yeah. So interesting question bringing up is like, how much is the broken gameplay tied to a character, right? Like, how much do we fault them for broken gameplay? Is a good question. I don't know the answer to it.
Character. What is
no,
he?
I am not saying he's a great character. he's a dork, and he's sort of a nothing of a character, right?
He's just like Shadow, but somehow even less like we need another cool hedgehog to rival. But
what
like,
color haven't we used yet?
Pretty much, yeah. So
he's definitely the worst hedgehog in gaming, right?
Like I'm looking at the last 5, and it's like Funky Kong. I don't know how Agent Man fan, but
Agent 47 is locked into number 47.
Oh, was that what it? Oh,
it's a joke.
Okay. I didn't even connect that.
We don't make jokes on this podcast.
like I said, like Navi, Ashley Graham. Navi never annoyed me the way that she annoyed other people, but I think because I played Ocarina way later, so I think he is last. I can't put him above anyone.
I think he's worse than Funky Kong. Worse than Navi or Ashley Graham, though. Anybody else have anything to weigh in here?
I have no ties to Sonic 06.
Same.
Unfortunately.
That's good. That's a good state of being in general.
I stayed away.
You're living your best life.
Maybe I could see it worse than Navi. I think Ashley's like would get caught, and I don't know. I'm not a fan, obviously, but Silver would be worse, huh?
I'd rather hang out with Ashley in real life. Silver.
You don't think it'd be cool to hang out with a silver hedgehog that was life size, or not even life size, human size?
He'd be like I guess if he like uses telekinesis to like stun lock things for me.
That's true. He got cool powers. Ashley
stun locks my enemy.
Unlock you like the boss fight.
That's true. If all he says is there's no use to, he's kind of a downer, pessimist.
There's no youth.
He also comes from a post-apocalyptic future, so he's basically like a significantly lamer Trunks from Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that. I was looking at his photograph on my phone. I have no ties to Silver the Hedgehog. I was like, this is like Trunks.
Yeah, like the whole time he's either saying there's no use. Doom is coming. The future's the trash fire. And
you're just predicting our future. What was wrong with that?
This is his fault, actually.
It's his fault. He's 50. This is what it comes down to. This character never existed.
Was it actually his fault too? Like he went back in time and he caused something?
I thought he went back. Wasn't it Sonic's fault? Wasn't he trying to kill? I don't know.
He was trying to kill Sonic, which was a mistake. He was like confused about who he should kill.
Seems like an irresponsible time traveler.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what he's doing. He's just a mess.
He might actually be worse than Ashley Graham.
Let's give him the 50 marker.
Yeah, well, technically 51 now.
Oh yeah, that's right. We added. Okay, I can't do math.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can't count.
New number 51. Okay. Final character on Dan's list. You guys ready for this?
Let's do it.
It's an interesting one. I'm curious to see where this goes.
Okay.
It's Zelda from the Legend of Zelda series.
Huh, she's never popped up before now.
Oh, okay.
No, not on our list yet.
See, this is interesting because I like different versions of Zelda.
Yeah, this is
more
tough.
than others. Because if we're talking, my favorite Zelda is Wind Waker Zelda, Tetra. And if it was her, she'd be pretty high. Whereas, like, I mean, there's no Zeldas that I actively dislike, but in some games, she's just kind of there. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. I always think of the Ocarina of Time Zelda. That's just kind of the iconic one in my brain. Although the one from Breath of the Wild is fine. People made fun of that voice actress for some reason, but she was fine.
Yeah, I didn't hate her.
I didn't hate her, but yeah, I mean, she's also got a really cool look. So if we rank her against other Zelda characters on this list, we have, let's see, Tingle. Ganon. Oh, yeah, we do have Ganon. Better than Tingle, I think we can safely say, right?
Definitely better than Tingle.
So the question is, better or worse than Ganon?
Worse.
See, I almost want to like, which Ganon are we talking? I guess because are we including? We're including Sheik too, because Sheik bumps her up pretty
Ooh,
high.
interesting.
Whoa.
That's a
Oh
good point.
gosh.
That's a good.
This is going to be a really tough one,
Like,
guys.
she has a
Oh
cool
my
alter
God.
ego.
So many versions. Some get more points than others.
Yeah, we were able to do it with Ganon, even though he has multiple incarnations.
I'd
think
say
Yours is
He
inconsistent.
has a really cool look. I keep going back to that. He's got a cool
Yeah.
look, cool power set. I'd say he's more powerful. There's versions where he's just a pig man, which is cool, but then he also has the cool, Wind Waker look, which is a really cool robed, big nosed dude, which I also like. So I like where Ganon is on this list, and I kind of lean towards maybe Zelda's a little worse. Not quite as good, I should say, because she's still a great character.
what was Zelda like in Skyward Sword? I forget. Was she anything interesting in that game?
She had a bird, right? She had a pet bird.
Yeah.
You met her like at the very beginning of the game. She's like your friend, childhood friend.
I guess it speaks to how memorable that game maybe is. That game, I don't.
Devil's Advocate. The series is called The Legend of Zelda. You know what I mean?
This doesn't
feel
exist without Zelda.
Yeah.
There's some iconic,
Yeah.
to
Did
it.
you know? Oh gosh, I'm gonna screw this up. But so the first Zelda came out. You're trying to rescue the princess, and then the second one, the Adventures of Link, the
Mhm.
second NES game, takes 100 years in the future from that original game, and you're trying to rescue the actual princess because it turns out the princess you rescued was a fake or something. I'm getting it messed up, I'm sure, but like there's something weird like that where it's 100 years in the future and you're trying to rescue the real princess.
What are you arguing though? That like
I don't know.
I was wondering the same thing.
what's the
Okay,
point?
here's a question. Would it surpass Pikachu, Luigi, Big Daddy, Lee Everett? Because those
you're
are the
talking
ones.
about all the stuff under Ganon.
Yeah.
Some big stuff on there.
Yeah,
I'm going to throw in another point that I just thought of. In Cadence of Hyrule, Zelda is easily the best playable character in that game because she has her little diamond shield that can reflect attacks, and it's damn near broken, but it's so good. And I remember I started as Link, and as soon as I got Zelda, I tried to play the remainder of that. It's the only Zelda game that I've played pretty much as Zelda. So I'm going to throw that out there.
Again, I mean, I don't know how much we like put gameplay mechanics onto a character a little bit. Like there's some element there I think is true, but I think we gotta, I don't know, weigh that with a little bit of salt.
Okay.
But hey, Zelda's a
I-
great character. If you guys want her above Ganon, I'm not gonna stop you. Is everybody
I think
saying
below.
above?
Yeah, the more I look at the list, I think below now. Because like
I-
putting her above like Pikachu, it just doesn't sit right with me.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going that low?
Really?
I was even looking at Luigi. I was like, well, maybe she's better than Luigi, but
Is that Pikachu, because Pokemon's weird, is that Ash's Pikachu or just the con in the, because if it's Ash's Pikachu, which is the actual character with history,
it's the character of Pikachu, dude.
but
Get it?
I guess that's honestly, that would, if it was Ash's debate, if it's just like a Pikachu.
Hey, if that helps you sleep at night, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it kind of just ropes in like all versions of character, which is kind of
Yeah.
vague when you're talking about Pikachu because there's multiple versions. Big
Yeah.
Daddy's the same issue, which I don't know. You could argue that's not really a real character, but
Mhm.
I think he's
Well,
on there for looks alone. Big Daddy just had a really cool look.
Then
Yeah.
I think we could put Zelda above Big Dad. I didn't play Walking Dead, so I don't know anything about Lee Everett.
Lee's good. Lee's good. I said Zelda was better than Luigi. I feel like I want to take that back. I think Zelda.
I mean,
Zelda's
Luigi,
just got more character to him. He's like the scaredy cat. He's the lovable loser.
that's true. I do like Luigi. What about in between Luigi and Pikachu?
Is that where we're landing here?
Alex,
That's
I know
fine.
you.
That's
don't-
fine. I'm
Okay.
not that. I'm not. I don't care that much.
You're not Ash
Why?
Ketchum. You're not married to Pikachu.
I already like staked my claim on Sam Fisher earlier, so I feel like I can't do that a second time for Pikachu. You know.
I could see it either way. So
Okay, so you guys are indifferent, and you're saying, Marcus, you're saying above Pikachu?
Above Pikachu, below Luigi.
Yeah, I think that's it. The new
You can
number
sleep
20,
at night with that answer. That's fine.
I'll try. I'll see. I'll let you know.
Will you be able to sleep
tonight.
tonight? Good luck sleeping. That's what I say every night when I lay my head down on this pillow, because sometimes it doesn't happen. Okay, yeah, that's our list.
Yay!
We now have 52 characters on this list, so congrats. If you want to send in a list, please send it to podcast@gameinformer.com. We also accept normal emails, just questions in general. You can say, hey, thanks for doing what you do. We like this thing. And we also appreciate those emails. So please send those in. That brings us to the last segment of the show, which is a segment we like to call Get Wrecked. This is where we recommend things to check out. I can go first, I guess. I wrote top 10 dorks. I think I promoted that last week, actually. So I shouldn't promote it 2 weeks in a row, but I'm super proud of it. So go check it out.
Proud of it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Marcus, you have anything you want to recommend?
Oh gosh. Well, actually, I guess I already recommended this last week. Actually, I just thought I was like, oh no. Well, over break, I reviewed Call of Duty, which is the Xbox kind of like adventure puzzle game that released like the week of Cyberpunk. So it kind of felt like it's kind of been forgotten because it's just been in the eye of that hurricane. So that game's really good. I gave it an 8.5 on the site. I played it over the right before the break, and yeah, I think that game. I don't know how many people played it, but I think it deserves some more eyes on it because it's a really, really good narrative puzzle game.
Great. Kim, what about you?
Oh boy, can I do two?
Yes.
I'm cheating. So we finally put up my Laura Bailey interview that was in the magazine. We did an extended version for online. We had her on the podcast. She was lovely. But the interview lets her pick her most what she feels are her most iconic roles, and then talk about a little bit the process through each of them. So that's pretty cool that I got to do that. And then I also wrote for the kind of the end of the year, taking things in perspective, the games that helped me cope with quarantine. So like I really got into Among Us this year, Phasmophobia, Animal Crossing, obviously, kind of talking about how this was a very different year and some of the games that you latched onto really helped you deal with what was going on and have I wanted a different experience from games this year that I could socially share with my friends. And so that's a big part of it.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
Alex?
My pick is not something that I wrote or produced, but Blake's Stuck in Cairo piece. It's a story about the development of Rockstar's Agent and how their team in the early 2000s, I think, got stuck in Cairo. And it was very scary, but it's a fascinating read. Mm-hmm. And I think people are sleeping on that story. I think if you haven't read it, go find it on the website. It's fantastic. Very interesting.
I feel like I got anxiety reading that story.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's well worth reading. Cool. Well, yeah, that brings us to the end of the show. Sad, but we'll be back. We're gonna come back next week. Don't worry
about it.
But we do want to thank you for watching this episode of the show, and please like and subscribe. Subscribe to the magazine if you like, and whatever you do, come back next week because we're gonna have another great show waiting for you. Until then, game on, everybody.
Bye.